Scary!
Good evening. He's right, it's not Halloween. I'm scary all year. Scary, unlike Mr. McHugh at the back, is not my real name. You'll be pleased to know. I'm Sue. I married Mr. Carey. They did my email address at work, and when I walked in after the wedding, they went, "Scary!" And I went, "Fucking amazing, thank you." And my husband's name is Scott, so we are Mr. and Mrs. Scary. So don't piss either of us off, alright? Great at Halloween, but you can't name a business after us. Nobody wants scary accountancy services. Apparently that gets you in trouble. Nobody wants scary driving lessons. Definitely not. As you can tell from my accent, I'm not from round here, but I did go to college in Southampton a long time ago now. It did not look like this when I was at college in Southampton. It's a bit of a shithole actually. It's come up a lot. I went to Southampton Institute of Higher Education, which now is an actual university. Thank you. I graduated and got a job in a call centre. like most students these days. So it was really worth it. But it's a bit like returning to the scene of the crime for me, coming back to Southampton. Lots of things happened in Southampton, some of which I can always remember properly. But the first thing that happened to me, age 18, fresh out of home, freshish out of home, went to live on Northumberland Road next to the pub that used to be the Hells Angels pub, and we were literally the house next door to the Hells Angels pub. We didn't get a lot of sleep in there, but it was quite interesting. And made a friend, Gaynor, and we decided we were going to go, sorry, somebody's fucking ringing me, honestly, can you believe it? It's my husband, Mr. Scary. He knows where I am, he fucking knows. Anyway, I'll tell you later. So I made a friend, Gaynor, and we decided we were going to go to the Valentine's Ball, because that's what you do when you're at university, isn't it? Yeah, so we had a drinking race in the Students' Union bar. We only had to get across one road to get to the ball. Got run over. Got run over crossing the one fucking road between the Students' Union bar and the ball. Wasn't my fault though. I thought the road was one way. So we didn't look. Poor bastard, he got two of us with one car. He hit my knee going 40 miles an hour, so I kind of swung off down the road, and poor old Gaynor went right over the top of the car and landed in the road. And, I know, I thought it was quite funny as well, because she was laying the road afterwards, right? She was laying the road afterwards going, "I've got brain damage!" No, love, that's the booze. You're seeing double from the booze. You are not brain damaged yet. So the guy who ran us over, he stopped, which I thought was quite considerate since he'd just run us over. And he was in an old style VW Beetle, one with two doors, and he said, "Shall I give you a lift to the hospital?" Again, quite civil, considering it was in the days before mobile phones. And the people in the ambulance station were just looking out the window going, "Fucking hell, this looks interesting, doesn't it? No, we can't send an ambulance because you haven't phoned us." Because we haven't got mobile phones yet. So we said, "I'll give you a lift to the hospital." Oh, wow, that's very civil of you. So we got in the back of the car. We had to clamber around the seats, right? We've been injured. He just run us over. So we had to do this contortion act into the back seat of this bloody old style Beetle. And then he goes, there's an empty seat in front, he goes, "I was just on my way to pick up my young son from Scouts. Do you mind if we carry on?" "No, look, we've just been run over. It's fine, let's do a fucking guided tour of Southampton." So I had this vision of this 11-year-old, 9 o'clock at night, Friday night, crying his eyes out the street corner because his daddy had come to pick him up. He's a fucking 18-year-old adventure scout. He could have adventured his own way home. Anyway, so yeah, lots of things happened in Southampton. I moved in the end, valued my limbs too much, couldn't work out the traffic. So then I moved to Manchester, and Manchester's very different to a lot of other places that I've lived. I've lived in a lot of places. Manchester's very different. I live with my husband in one of them Coronation Street type houses, 2 up, 2 down, with a little ginnel and a yard out the back. And we had a neighbour, Steve. Steve had 2 massive Alsatians and a tiny weenie yard, and he couldn't be bothered to walk them, so it was covered in poo. He also had a little friend, and he was quite short actually, I'm not being derogatory, he was actually a little friend. But you know, one of them blokes who's really stocky, but really little. Like that. Always kind of growling at you. And they used to play Call of Duty, very loud, wired into the surround sound system. So it was a bit like living in Beirut. And it wasn't the best area of town, so it was also a bit like living in Beirut. And one day, I used to still smoke at the time, and we had this little yard, me and my husband stood outside, summer's evening, having a fag, listening to Beirut happening next door. And there's some kids mucking about at the start of the giddle. They used to set fire to the bins because there was now to do, you know. And so they started on again, and you could hear a bit of a commotion next door. And suddenly the little guy comes running out, manages to avoid all of the poo in the yard, leaps onto the wall. He's fucking naked. He's absolutely fucking naked. I mean, is strip Call of Duty a thing? How does it even work? Why are 2 grown men in a little tiny house completely naked with 2 massive Alsatians playing Call of Duty? I do not know this. Neighbours are very different where I live now in Somerset. They don't do those sorts of things at all. People walk their dogs and they actually pick up the poo round there, you know. It's fucking amazing, isn't it? So I like travelling. I've travelled quite a lot in my life. And I like going to festivals, and sometimes we combine the two, because it's so exciting. So one day, me and a load of my friends are DJs, so we're all DJing at this festival in Croatia. So we got Ryanair, good old Ryanair, out to Croatia. There's about 35 of us all sat in this one area of the plane. And of course with Ryanair, they're crafty little bastards, aren't they? Because when you get your little card out and you look at the shit you can order to eat off there, because you've forgotten to go to Boots like everybody else in the airport, buy something actually edible. So they take the money off you when you order the food. And they do that because their food is crap. So my friend Jim ordered a slice of pizza and a burger. They took the money off him, they brought him the food, and he got the card out, and he got the piece of pizza out, and he was like, well, that doesn't look like that, does it? And so he called the steward out, excuse me, Mr. Steward, excuse me, there's a problem with my food here, it looks like you've run over it, or you've shat on it, or something. But I'd like my money back, please, because it doesn't look edible. And the steward went, well, I'm very sorry, this is right now, we don't do refunds, like that. And so Jim stood up. Jim's quite tall. Jim stood up on the plane and he went, I'd like my money back, please. Then we all stood up on the plane. He'd like his money back, please. At which point the steward actually looked like he nearly shat himself. And he said, if you don't all sit down, we'll have to divert the plane. And so we thought, well, we'll sit down. And we had a few drinks and we enjoyed the rest of the flight. And when we landed, we weren't allowed off the flight. No one was allowed off the flight. They called the police. They actually called the Croatian police because he'd complained and then we'd all started complaining. And so they took Jim off and we were all still on the plane. They took Jim off and we were all looking out the window. They took him under the wing because it's very sunny in Croatia and it doesn't get sunburned house. So they took him under the wing and he's saying to them, you can see he's kind of explaining about the food and you can see they kind of don't get what he means. So he's very crafty Jim, he takes the seat card out and he takes the piece of pizza out of his pocket and the burger out of the other pocket. At which point the Croatian police falling out laughing, we're all allowed off the plane. It's a victory against Ryanair! I know, not many people get them. But I'm going on other flights though. I used to live out in Hong Kong when I was a kid and my dad used to do a bit of secret work for the Chinese government. We don't talk about that. I told you, I'll have to kill you later. And we used to go into these closed zones in China, and then we used to get China Airways back. And one day we got on the flight, and they didn't do a safety drill or anything, they didn't really care whether you was strapped in or anything, and my dad said, excuse me, why haven't you done a safety drill? And she said, we crash, you die. Which I thought was probably quite accurate at the time, actually. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a good chance of that happening, isn't there? We crash, you die. So, we do like a festival though, and we still festival a lot, me and Mr. Carey. And there's a little festival that we go to up in Lancashire still, and it's proper feral, this festival. And one of the ways you can tell it's feral is when you're walking through the campsite in the morning about 10 o'clock, if you hear someone going, Mom, have you got any more MDMA? You know it's a feral festival. So we're the kind of people now, we're a bit older now. I've passed my big milestone birthday, 39 plus whatever the fuck it was he said before. I can't add up either. So I passed my milestone birthday, so I need a big tent with an enormous airbed, because I got a bad back from being run over, didn't I? All them bloody years ago. It's still paining me now. And so we're the kind of people, we turn up with a 6-man tent and a big king-size inflatable airbed, and we set it up and we see people looking at us like, fucking hell, you're not really slumming it, are you? And I have to keep saying to people, I'm terribly bad back, you know, I can't just lie on a little mattress. And so we set up the tent and everything, and we go out boogieing, and because we're a bit older now, we kind of come back about 2 in the morning, because my feet hurt, I want to sit down, my back hurts, and all those other things. And we're winding our way through the campsite, winding our way. Some people are having a very good time in their tents, you know, even at 2 in the morning. And you can tell that because they've left the light in the wrong place. That's how you know they're having a very good time in their tent. And so we're winding our way back, and we're too old to have a good time in our tent because we can't handle the airbed and all the other things. So we get in the fully dressed because it's fucking freezing, it's Lancashire and it's July. So it might as well be Iceland in the middle of bloody winter. So we get in the tent, in the bed, fully dressed, and we're lying there, and I've got the tent wall here, and Mr. Carey's got the open bit there, and suddenly, I get cramp in my leg. Have you ever had cramp in your leg on a bloody airbed in a sleeping bag? It's impossible. It's impossible to get out that fucking thing. He's going, straighten your leg, straighten your leg. I'm like, come on, I'm fucking stuck in there. He's going, you're going to have to get out. Well, I've got the tent wall here. So I'm like, right, fucking awesome. I'm like, and we get out, and I'm straddling him like this, and then I get cramp in the other leg. So I'm striding, going, fuck! Get out! He's going, you're suffocating me. He sleeps face down, you see. You're suffocating me! And I go, calm down, I can't do it. And he turns the fucking light on, doesn't he? Thank you very much, I've been Susan.